If there are a lot of negative people in your life, don't look at them. Look at the energy that you are creating to attract them. Don't look at them. Look at yourself. What are you doing to draw those people? Because if you are surrounded by negative people, there's a part of you that's willing to tolerate that.
Birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Unconsciously. Unconsciously, you will pick up their ways, you'll pick up their habits, you'll pick up, most importantly, their attitude about life. If you're around cynical, negative people all the time, you will become cynical and negative. So you got to watch yourself. Many of us are living out the lives of other people, living out their conclusions, living out of their consciousness.
I've had to do a clearing in my life of some people whose energy I realized was not supportive of who I wanted to be in the world. And I recognize that there are people who are not going to take responsibility for their energy. So I now have to take responsibility for the energy that I allow to be brought into my space.
Align yourself with powerful people. Align yourself with people that can encourage you, people that can empower you, people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from. That's very important. See, if you have people around you that can contribute to your growth. When I wanted to become a speaker, I joined the National Speakers Association. I wanted to be around the Dr. Norman Vincent Peales, the Zig Ziglars, the Dwayne Dyers. I wanted to be around people that were doing what I wanted to do.
What I know is that you cannot continue to move forward in your life to the level that you need to be if you're surrounded by energy that brings you down, that sucks the life force from you. So not only are you responsible for the energy that you bring, is what I learned, you're also responsible for the energy that you surround yourself with. Huge, 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 huge. And everybody who's watching me right now, I know that you know this is true. There are some energy suckers in your life. Just literally taking the life force out of you. And you will never be able to do and be who you're supposed to be in the world as long as you continue to buy into the energy suckers.
Positive influence can have an incredible effect on your life, but so can negative influence. Both will take you somewhere, but only one will take you in the direction you truly wish to go. It's so easy just to dismiss the things that influence our lives. The man says, I live here, but I don't think it matters. I'm around these people, but I don't think it hurts. I would take another look at that. I've got a good phrase for you. Everything matters. Now, sure, some things matter more than others, but everything matters. Everything weighs something. So you've got to keep checking to find out whether associations are tipping the scales toward the positive or toward the negative. It doesn't hurt to look, right? Ignorance is never the best policy. Finding out is the best policy. People around us can keep nudging us off course, a little at a time, until finally, 10 years from now, we find ourselves asking, how did I get here? Those subtle influences need to be studied carefully if we really want our lives to turn out the way we've planned. Now, on this major point, let me give you 3 key questions to ask. This may help you to make a better analysis of your current associations. Here is the first question. Who am I around? Good question. Make a mental study of the major people with whom you most often associate. You've got to evaluate everybody who is within the circle of being able to influence you. So, major question, who am I around? Next question, what are they doing to me? That's a major question to ask. What have they got me doing? What have they got me listening to? What have they got me reading? Where have they got me going? What have they got me thinking? How have they got me talking? And how have they got me feeling? What have they got me saying? You've just got to make a serious study of how others are influencing you, both negatively and positively. Now, maybe the influence of all those around you is okay, but just ask yourself, it doesn't hurt to ask, who am I around, and what are they doing to me? Now, here's the final question, is that okay? Maybe the people you associate with and their collective influence is okay, But then again, maybe it's not. All I'm suggesting here is that you take a close and objective look. Everything is worth a second look, especially the power of influence.
You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life. See, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of energy to reach your goal. It takes a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual energy to reach your goal. So there are two kinds of relationships: nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships are the relationships that inspire you. They motivate you. They bring the best out of you. Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is find fault. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. These people are bad for your health. Toxic people can run your blood pressure up. One apple can spoil a whole barrel. One negative energy drainer can spoil your whole life. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them. See, there are some people that aren't good for you. Got to get them out of your life. See, a lot of people put up with a lot of foolishness because they don't want to die by themselves. Make a list of who you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Is it helping me to grow mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Do they bring out the best in me? Do they inspire me? Do they encourage me to develop my greatness? Do they make me stretch? So you got to look at the people in your life and find out, what kind of person are you becoming because of that relationship?
Perhaps you've heard the story of the little bird. He had his wing over his eye and he was crying. The owl said to the little bird, "You're crying." "Yes," said the little bird, and he pulled his wing away from his eye. "Oh, I see," said the owl. "You're crying because the big bird pecked out your eye." And the little bird said, "No, I'm not crying because the big bird pecked out my eye. I'm crying because I let him." Hey, it's easy to let influences shape our lives, to let associations determine our direction, to let persuasions overwhelm us, to let tides take us, to let pressures make us. The big question is, are we letting ourselves become what we wish to become?
If you're a person where all your friends come to you with their problems, that's because they see something in you. You're more balanced and stable. But you got to remember this old saying. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. You've got to upgrade your friends. It ain't nothing bad. You just got to upgrade people in your life. But if you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. You cannot be the go-to person in the group.
You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life.
There are a lot of bridges in our life, right? A lot of things in our life, a lot of people in our life. And sometimes it's family, sometimes it's friends, sometimes the people closest to you, sometimes it's strangers. But there are always people in our life that leads us back to something that's not good for our life. I want you to think about this for a second. Maybe it's not now in your life. Maybe it's a point in time in your life where you had a lot of bridges. And sometimes that bridge is you. Like, let's be real. But you had a lot of bridges in your life. Bridges mean connections and relationships that are leading you to a lesser you. So I want you to think about this right now. I want you to think about people in your life that aren't bringing to your life. And I don't mean they have to bring something incredible. But sometimes we have people in our life that bring nothing but drama, nothing but gossip, nothing but rumors, nothing but low self-esteem, nothing but low integrity, nothing but negativity, all these things. And we choose to keep these bridges up in our life. And I want to just tell you this. It's just facts. And you got to know this. The longer you keep bridges in your life that need to be burned, the more you prevent your life from building the bridges that need to be built. Some of us on here, listen, you were created incredible, but some of us on here have believed the lies. We believe the lies that people have told us. We believe the lies how people treat us. We believe the lies what this world has given us, and we live a lie our whole entire life. Most of us on here, if you're in this place, you are not living the life that God gave for you. You're living the life that other people created for you. You're living the life that pain created for you. You're living the life that negativity created for you. You're living the life that all these things have created for you. Now when you look at yourself, you don't even recognize who you are because you've kept so many bridges in your life. And I get it. Trent, it's so hard. Trent, you don't understand. Trent, I've been around these people so long or had this job so long. Let me tell you something. Don't let the history keep you in the misery. Don't let the length of the friendship keep you in the friendship. That's terrible for your life. Like, yeah, it comes to a point. I'm not always talking about, oh, get rid of people. But I know when you keep toxic things in your life, you're going to feel toxic.
If you decide you want to be rich, all you got to do is start. Why not? Who gonna stop you? Unless you tell it to the wrong person. Mama, listen to me. I'm going to be rich. Ain't anybody rich in this family. Go in there and sit down somewhere. Get yourself a good job. Oh, mama, you must be right. No, mama could be wrong. Because what you have in your imagination, God didn't show it to your mama. I'm sorry. He showed it to you. Listen to me. If y'all don't do nothing else, write everything you imagine down. Write it all down. Pray about it and watch what happens.
Energy drainers, get them out of your life. See, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of energy to reach your goal. It takes a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual energy to reach your goal. And you can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck.
I want to talk to you today about connecting with the right people. Your destiny is too big to get there on your own. God has already arranged certain people to speak faith into you. He's placed in your path people to inspire you, to challenge you, to help you grow and accomplish your dreams. But the reason some people never reach their highest potential is because they never get away from the wrong people. Everyone cannot go where God is taking you. You've got to connect with people that understand your destiny, people that appreciate your uniqueness, people that can call forth your seeds of greatness, not people that are always pushing you down, telling you what you can't become, never giving you their approval, no matter how good you do. Life is too short to drag people along. If you will get the wrong people out of your life, then God will bring the right people into your life. And some of you, the only thing that's holding you back is your inner circle. The people that are closest to you, they're with you, but they're not really for you. You're constantly having to persuade them that you're okay and convince them to get on board. You're spending all your time and energy on someone that doesn't understand your destiny. Your time is too valuable to spend it with people that are not 100% for you. It's not the quantity of friends that's important, it's the quality of friends. I would rather have 2 good friends that I know are for me 100% than to have 50 friends that are only for me 80%.
There's no way I can help myself. There's no way I can help the people who deserve my help if I'm keeping things in my life that's making me feel helpless. You have to guard your heart. You have to burn every single bridge that leads your life back to destruction. You have to burn every single bridge that leads your life back to negativity. You have to burn every single bridge that leads your life back to low self-esteem. And the more that you don't know who you are, the more that you don't tap into guarding your heart because you're letting people stump on your heart, you're letting people take advantage of your life, the more you're doing that, then you're not going to have confidence in yourself and you're going to believe the lies that people have told you. Like straight up. You have believed the lies that someone else has told you. You let a broken person break you. You let a person that don't know how to love break you. You let a person that don't know what loyalty is break you. Am I telling that you have to have a perfect relationship or friendship? Absolutely not. Mistakes are going to be made in this life, but the same mistakes shouldn't be repeated because when you repeat the same mistakes, and this is as a personal message too, when you repeat the same mistakes over and 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 over again, it is not a mistake. It has become a choice. Someone is choosing that action over and over and over again.
You need to evaluate who's on your team, who's speaking into your life, who you're giving your time and energy to. In other words, who you eating lunch with every day at the office, who you're talking to on the phone so much. Are they building you up or tearing you down? Are they inspiring you to go further or are they telling you what you can't do? No, don't spend your time with people that don't make you better. Some of you don't realize how much that one negative influence is holding you back. You don't know how much more you would accomplish, how much more you would grow, how much more you would enjoy life if you just make necessary changes.
There are two kinds of relationships: nourishing relationships and toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships are the relationships that inspire you. They motivate you. They bring the best out of you. Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is find fault. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. These people are bad for your health. Toxic people can run your blood pressure up. One apple can spoil a whole barrel. One negative energy drainer can spoil your whole life. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them. See, there are some people that aren't good for you. They aren't good for you. You've got to get them out of your life.
Everybody cannot be a loser. Some people have to be successful. So in my reality, I'm successful. So I hate when they use that, oh, let's be realistic. You never did this before. You never did that. Blah, blah, blah. Come on. They can't see from themselves, so there's no way they can see it for you. Think about that, guys. If these people never been successful, how can you really expect them to support you and want you, to get to that next level and be successful? They never saw it for themselves. They never had it. So just keep that in mind when talking to friends and family.
You need to make sure the people in your inner circle believe in who you are. They celebrate your gifts, and they're pushing you further, not holding you back. And some of you today, if you don't very kindly and politely show someone the door, they're going to keep you from becoming all God's created you to be. Well, you said, Joel, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they keep you from your destiny? What if they keep you from accomplishing your dreams and making a difference in our generation? I can't think of anything worse than to come to the end of our life and realize we have not become what God's created us to be. And a lot of times we think, I know this person is not a good influence. I know they're keeping me from growing. But if I make a change, I may not have any friends. I may be lonely. And yes, you may be lonely for a season, but you never give up something for God that He doesn't give you something back better in return. If you'll make the change, God will not only give you new friends, He'll give you better friends. Friends that you don't have to wonder, are they for me or against me? Friends that don't try to manipulate you into who they want you to be, but they celebrate you and help you become who God's created you to be. God knows how to bring promises to pass, but you have to stay open to how it's going to happen.
Don't ever say, God, don't you love me? You always say, God, I know you love me. I don't care what's happening in my life. I know that you love me.
I want you to go out and find somebody to mentor during this crisis, or go sit at the feet of somebody that needs to mentor you, and start maximizing your time with people.
Listen to me closely. But we've been programmed to fail. Did you hear what I just said? We were born. We're made in the likeness and image of God. It doesn't get any better than that. And been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including the adversities that we face.
My mother said, Leslie, if you run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you'll become number 2. Well, come to find out, Mama was right. She only had a 3rd grade education. But the studies indicate that you earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. So poverty and living a mediocre life is communicated mind to mind. And so your relationships can hold you down or they can lift you up. I teach people to practice the principle of OQP, only quality people. If you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group.
Your body naturally will feel the effects of what you've created in your mind. And a lot of you guys are on the receiving end of something that happened to you, a heartbreak, a situation, disrespect, feeling vulnerable, and so it's very natural for something that you've experienced to replay in your mind over and over and over. But if you change your mind, it'll change your life.
Your perception of who you are, you've got to change it. And most of our perceptions are other people's concepts of us, and therefore we don't have self-concept, we got other concepts. What is your perception of who you are? And the second one, why do you think you exist? You got to discover that you were born for something. Some reason. There's some purpose for your life. If you don't discover that, you'll always have a job.
I'm still a work in progress. I'm flawed. I have my own issues, problems, and situations that I'm working through. But I do understand clearly that I'm much more further along than a lot of people. And so I feel like I'm putting my hand out there and hoping to relate and hoping that you can relate to what I'm saying and what I'm speaking on.
If you're a person where all your friends come to you with a problem, that's because they see something in you. You're more balanced and stable. But you got to remember this old saying. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. It ain't nothing bad. You just got to upgrade people in your life. You cannot be the go-to person in the group. So, just upgrade your friends. Don't worry about it. You have a gift that you solve problems all the time. You know what people pay for in this country? They pay for expertise in this country. The moment you're an expert at something in America, you can make $1 million. All you got to do is be an expert at one thing.
I asked Dad one time, I said, Dad, how do you know that people need encouragement? Because he was encouraging everybody. I said, how do you know they need to be encouraged? He said, son, let me explain this to you. If they're breathing, I love this. If they're breathing, they need to be encouraged. That's exactly how my father lived his life. He called encouragement the oxygen of the soul.
When you're an eagle, you're meant to rise up. We don't rise up when everything's going well. We rise up regardless. You're trained to rise up on your worst day. That's who you are. In the worst of circumstances. No place for whining, complaining, being anxious, being negative. It's totally unnecessary.
All your circumstances may say you'll never fly. You don't have the training, the experience. Thoughts will tell you you'll always be grounded. No, get ready. Your wings are coming. Where you are is not permanent. God did not create you to crawl, to go through life lonely, struggling. He created you to soar, to take new ground, to go further than you thought possible. Now quit being discouraged by what you see. What you see is subject to change. You don't know what God is up to. You don't know what he's doing behind the scenes.
Eagles live on another level. Eagles think on another level. Eagles dream on another level. Eagles function on another level. If you had somebody reject you, leave you, stop crying about it. It was just a chicken.
I now realize how true. So you don't know the truth until you obey the word. Now, God, give me strength to preach this. God, give me strength to preach this. God, you keep asking God to explain it, and he keeps telling you to trust it.
Now, the fact is, goals aren't going to achieve themselves. And even the smallest act makes you one step closer. Even the smallest step is progress. Now, listen to me, friends. Taking action daily, on a daily basis, every day, is the most important step toward your success.
I was number 3 behind Michelle Obama for a long time until my book sold out. Yeah. And I was a guy just 21 years ago who was 300 pounds, could barely read and write, and now I have a book just 2 spots behind Michelle Obama, just because I was afraid. But you overcome those fears, guess what happens? The whole world, you unlock this door, and everything opens back up again.
Receiving is like the ocean. Well, the problem is, some people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. What I suggest you do in view of the size of the ocean is trade your teaspoon for at least a bucket.
All of the great discoveries, great inventions, great deeds that have lifted man up from his animal existence have been wrought out of the actual by the perpetual thinking of and visualizing these things by their authors. These grand characters clung to their vision, nursed it until they became mighty magnets that attracted out of the universal intelligence the realization of their dreams. Whenever we make our demand upon the brain by desire, that part responds in growth. Don't let go of your desire. Whether it be music, art, literature, business, or a profession, hold on to it. No matter how dark the outlook, keep on visualizing your desire, and light and opportunity will come to enable you to make it a reality. Whatever the Creator has fitted you to do, He will give you a chance to do, if you cling to your vision and struggle as best you can for its attainment. The opportunities for boys and girls to bring out whatever the Creator has implanted in them are 10 to 1 today to what they were 100 or 50 or even 25 years ago. The great danger in our time is not lack of chance or opportunity, but of losing our vision, of letting our ambition die. Most of us, instead of treating our desires, seriously trifle with them as though they were only to be played with, as though they could never be realities. We do not believe in their divinity. We regard our heart longings, our soul yearnings, as fanciful vagaries, romances of the imagination. Yet we know that every invention, every discovery or achievement that has blessed the world began in a desire.
Release control of how it's going to happen. God is about to do unusual things, out of the ordinary, unprecedented. You're not falling behind. You're about to receive a phone call, a good break, a promotion. Your health suddenly turns around.
If your life and your surroundings is a nightmare while you're awake, those same nightmares are going to continue into your sleep, because the mind doesn't turn off because you close your eyes to go to sleep and rest. You can think yourself into a depression. Keep thinking and replaying and thinking and replaying, playing the same over and over and over in your mind.
Too often we say, oh, I'll be happy when I just get that promotion. I'll be happy when I just land that contract. I'll be happy when I just have more money. I'll be happy when I just what? You won't be any happier when you reach your goals than you are right now. It just doesn't work that way. Abraham Lincoln said it best. He said, you'll be as happy as you make up your mind to be. Right now, whether you're on your way, whether you've already gotten there, you'll be as happy as you make up your mind to be now. Right now. Being happy on the way doesn't mean you can't aim for great things. After all, look at everything Franklin accomplished in his lifetime. It means that big achievements come one small advantage at a time. It means that you've got to enjoy the journey. It means that you must enjoy and take pride in your little accomplishments. It means enjoying who you are becoming in pursuit of your eager desire every day, every single day.
If you're a believer, it's life versus even more life. Do you hear what he is saying in this text? Do you hear what he is preaching? He's saying, yo, to die is gain. What he's saying the bigger sacrifice is not death. The bigger sacrifice for where I am at right now is to keep on living.
No one can live beyond the limits of their belief. So if you want to live beyond what you're living now, you have to change your belief system. The secret to anyone rising is what happens in their belief system. Your life is what you think it should be. That's exactly what you are right now. You are what you thought you should be. And if you don't like who you are, you got to change what you think you should be. That's how leaders are born. Your leadership development is determined by, number one, your perception of who you are. Number two, by why you think you exist. And number three, your sense of significance. I am giving you my secret to life right here. You got to first change your perception of who you are. And that starts with a belief system. Secondly, you must change your perception of why you think you exist. And number three, your sense of significance. No matter where you are right now, it doesn't matter. I don't care what situation you're in now, where you're working, or what situation you're in. If you get these three things to come alive in this session, when I see you again, you'll have a story to tell. Discover that you are important to the human race. You are important to the world. You are important to your universe. You can never fully carry out the mandate of leadership if you don't have the mentality of leadership. It's about mentality. As a matter of fact, integrating attitude and aptitude and altitude produces leadership. That's a lot of ops there. First of all, your attitude got to be right. Then you must marry that to attributes. That means gifts you were born with. Then you got to marry that to aptitude. That means now you got to educate and train those gifts. That's why you read and study and go to school, for your aptitude to be increased. And then your altitude means you got to change the level of associations you are in.
Look forward to the rewards that we're going to have for the work that we've done. But we don't do them to get rewarded, just like you really shouldn't give in the offering just to get more back. You should give because you appreciate what God's done for you, and you should give because you remember what it's like to be a miserable person, and you want to help other people that are where you used to be.
Another thing I do, I schedule my exercise out for the whole week. So on Sunday nights, I go through all the online classes I'm going to take. I put them in my calendar. That way I'm not making a game day decision. Another thing that I do, I have a little reward afterwards. Another thing that I do, I lay out my clothes the night before. All of these are little steps that make it easier for me to fulfill on something that I don't want to do.
We all look for toughness. We all want it, but we look for it in a comfortable environment. You will not find toughness in a comfortable environment. I was trying to look for it everywhere. The only way you find it is to drown yourself in a position where you're just out of sorts, where you can't swim and you're drowning. You're drowning in life. But you say, you know what, man? Fuck that. I'm going to figure out how to fucking backstroke or fucking something. I'm going to figure out how to, and then through figuring out, when you say, fuck you, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. It says, fuck, he's not leaving. So we got to expand. We got to grow. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before.
Destination is not determined by hope. It's not determined by wish. Destination is determined by direction. You cannot change destination overnight. You cannot change destination overnight. Which means you can't arrive at a 5 years from now place tomorrow. But here's what you can change today and overnight. You can change direction. And it is so fascinating what a little small change of direction will do. Let's say that you're here and you're headed this way. And 5 years from now, you'll wind up here. But here's how we individually can arrive at a new destination. Maybe right now by discipline or lack of discipline or direction, you're headed this way. But it wouldn't take much to change direction and head this way.
When we do things for the right reason, man, God comes through with blessings that are just absolutely almost unbelievable. Why don't you have any faith? But they arrived on the other side because what God says will happen with or without you.
When the eagle spreads its wings, it's something to behold. It was built to soar, to fly. It was built to withstand storms, so that when the storm comes and other birds run for shelter, the eagle runs into the storm and uses the storm to lift it up so that it can fly above the storm. You know you're an eagle when you ran into a storm that you thought was going to kill you, and instead of it killing you, it lifted you higher than you've ever been lifted before. It's a sure sign you're an eagle. Can you hear me tonight? What you need is another eagle with wings and dreams and visions and concepts, who's not jealous of you, who's not intimidated by you, who's not fighting you. You know that it's an eagle when they're not jealous of you. You know it's another eagle when they can pray for you and help you to get to the next level. It's only the chickens that are down on the ground talking about everybody. So don't be frustrated when you see the chickens flapping up and falling down, because at this stage in your life, It's time for you to be synergistic with other eagles.
What you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you've become. Now, sometimes it's a little tough to take, blaming yourself instead of the marketplace, taking responsibility instead of putting it off on someone else.
Responsibility, the key of it is that it wakes you up. It wakes you up to stop being so wasteful with your time and with your resources and with your energy and with your talent. And so I think that that's really the key. And so, you know, you can either waste your time, which makes your future self less successful. And every time you do that, every time you invest a little bit in your future, you've made yourself more free in the future.
You don't have to change circumstances out there. All you've got to do is look within and see if you can change yourself to the better. And as you change, things will start to change for you.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing.
It's good for you to go take your place in the world. Have some ambition. Have a vision. Have a goal. Have a strategy. Try to be a good person. Not because it's your duty precisely, because that's the proper way to live. We're in danger of undermining all of that. You can't just sit there.
How easy and how convenient is it for us to blame everything and everybody for the things that we have going on in our lives? Most of you dropping every excuse in the book about your childhood and the problems, dysfunction that you grew up in that's stopping you from becoming successful. Stop being a lazy person that's full of excuses, sitting around on the pity potty, coming up with every excuse in the world as to why you ain't winning.
And you don't have to fill yourself with that kind of energy. So you don't put your thoughts on what's missing. You don't put your thoughts on what always has been. You don't put your thoughts on what others want for you.
You are the reason you're not winning.
When we make more decisions based on the place that we want to go, we allow ourselves to train our brains to know that we are in charge, that we are the ones making the decision, that this is our life.
And we can create the kind of world that we want to create.
It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mơ em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ ai. Anh vẫn đang mơ. Chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ. Và chỉ có em không còn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như mà mơ mộng. Anh như đang mong cầu. Và vui bên em ngủ sầu. Chào cả mà mai em mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng là có mơ. Mà đang dài em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau soul. Oh my.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts.